Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Brendan, aka TKE here, and today we're going to be reacting to some NBA trades. So, Andy Bailey of Bleacher Report put out NBA trades for all 8 teams that were not invited to Orlando. So, we're going to look at these trade ideas. We're going to see if we agree with them, like maybe analyze them a little bit. So, yeah, there's going to be 8 trades. So, we're going to dive into this and just see how they are. My Timberwolves aren't going to Orlando. So, I want to see what kind of trades he wants to make with them. So let's take a look at these, man. All right, so over here in Bleacher Report, this is off-season trade ideas for every NBA team not invited to Orlando. So this came out like 6 days ago, something like that. Andy Bailey wrote it. I'll make sure to link this in the description as well. But we got Kat and Trey here on the first picture. So obviously both those teams are not going to Orlando, so they will be involved in today's video. So the first team is the Atlanta Hawks, and we got a picture of Clint Capella. All right, the trade. Clint Capella for Terry Rozier and a second-round pick. Honestly, I don't know why you would do this trade. I mean, if I'm the Hornets, I'm doing this trade 100%. No questions asked. This trade needs to get done. If I'm the Hawks, what's the point of this? You just traded for Clint Capella. And now you want to trade him away for Terry Rozier, who's an overpaid point guard? You imagine Rozier playing next to Trey or playing as his backup? Because I don't think that's really the way to do it. Let's see what they say. Capella hasn't had a chance to play a single game for the Hawks, and this deal would obviously prevent him from ever doing so. But feel free to scan Atlanta's 2021 cap sheet and find movable contracts. So they do have like Dwayne Dedmon, who makes $13 million, which they say, but they said, so the idea here is to move Capella and transition John Collins to a full-time 5. I don't think that's a good idea because John Collins cannot guard centers. He's not strong enough, big enough to guard centers in the league. So I don't really think this is a good move. I think Clint Capella actually is a really solid player for them. And I want to see what he can do before you just try and turn him away and everything. So I don't really like this trade. I don't really like this trade at all, actually. Let's see if there's anything else. For the Hornets, this would be a quick about face after signing Rozier last summer, but the emergence of Devontae Graham. See, that's what I'm saying. I think this is good for the Hornets, but this is not good for the Hawks at all. All right, let's go to the next one. Now we got the Hornets. So other than that trade, they're saying Nicholas Batum, Cody Zeller, and a first-round pick for Chris Paul. I don't think Chris Paul is as available as some people think he is. I mean, look what he's doing with those Thunder. He's leading that squad to the playoffs. He's got Shea to mentor. And I just don't... I mean, his contract's ginormous. And I get getting rid of Nicholas Batum and Zeller for the Hornets. So again, if I'm the Hornets, I'm making this trade. Only one first-round pick? Yes, but if I'm the Thunder, there's no way I'm accepting this trade. For the Thunder, this trade is like a D-. This trade's not good. So I'm not going to be taking this trade whatsoever from the Thunder. See if there's any argument that I kind of agree with in here. OKC isn't a title contender, and it should be open to proposals that continue to add to its stockpile of picks. Okay, I get that, but I think there's better ways to do that if you're willing to trade Chris Paul. I think he's worth more than Nicholas Batum, Cody Zeller, and a first-round pick. All right, let's go on to the next one. The Bulls and Pistons. So this one they're swapping. Both of them are swapping for each other. They're swapping somebody. So the trade is Thaddeus Young and Otto Porter Jr. for Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. Also, a terrible... What is Andy Bailey doing? I follow Andy Bailey on Twitter. I mean, I didn't think he was this bad at trade ideas. Like, honestly, this is ridiculous. Thaddeus Young and Otto Porter Jr. Otto Porter Jr. is overpaid, but he's an okay player, right? Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin, each of them are both better than either of the other two players. There's no picks involved. I don't see why the Pistons would do this. I mean, what's he saying here? Yeah, Griffin had one of his best seasons of his career, but he was injured this year, okay? Yeah, Rose back to Chicago. Cool, that would be so awesome. That's his hometown. He won an MVP there. Like, I'd love to see Derrick Rose back in Chicago, but the thing is, like, for Detroit, This doesn't make any sense. You could get picks to build with for Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin instead of getting an aging Thad Young and an overpaid Otto Porter Jr. I mean, Porter's on an expiring contract next year. I get that. Because I'm sure he'll pick up his team option or his player option, but like for Detroit, cap flexibility doesn't mean that much when you aren't a big free agent destination. You'd rather get some draft picks and draft young players that are going to become stars rather than trying to sign stars. Because I'm sorry, Detroit, you're not going to be you're not signing any stars. And I'm a Timberwolves fan, so we're not signing any stars either. But Detroit's in the same boat. So I don't like this trade either. So what's that been? 3 trades and they've all been absolutely trash? Okay, Cavs. Trade number 4. Kevin Love for LaMarcus Aldridge and Metu. I don't know why either team does this trade. I mean, it's pretty even value, I guess. Both players are older. Their skill sets kind of, I don't know. LaMarcus Aldridge on the cap. I would rather see Kevin Love be traded to Portland, which has been the rumor for a long time, for like Whiteside or something, because I think Love would fit really well in Portland, and I think that, I mean, yeah, the Cavs would have then Whiteside and Drummond, but I don't know why you need LaMarcus Aldridge when you already have Drummond, and you already have Kevin Love, and it doesn't really matter that much. Both are overpaid for their age, and I just don't get this one either. What's his argument? Yeah, see, like, they should let the contracts of DeRozan and Aldridge expire. I would do that, or I would trade them for an expiring contract and a pick. Like, trade them for Nicholas Batum and some picks from the Hornets or something. But don't do this, man. This is terrible. I mean, I know Love doesn't want to be in Cleveland too, so like getting him out of there is like, yeah, not a bad thing. But I can't agree with that trade either. Okay, Warriors. Draymond Green for Trevor Ariza, Rodney Hood, and a first-round pick. Again, this trade sucks. Draymond Green, yeah, he's had a down season this year. He's been really off. But I think Draymond Green is that type of player where when you surround him with talent, he's just going to play better. So with Steph being out, Clay being out, like the Warriors were absolute trash. There's a reason they're projected the top pick in this NFL, this NBA draft in 2020. So I don't get the move here. What's your deal? Like, what, Andy, what are you trying to accomplish? Because this is just terrible, man. Like, Draymond Green, I get he's a little overpaid. But, man, Draymond is like a glue guy for that Warriors team. I don't think you can trade him. Trade Andrew Wiggins or something, but do not trade Draymond Green. Especially not for this, man. Like, Trevor Ariza, Rodney Hood. I mean, Rodney Hood's decent, and a first-round pick would be cool. But, like, I don't know. Ariza's 4 years older than Draymond. Not as good of a defender, and nowhere near the passer that Draymond is. But he's a better shooter. Okay, he's a better shooter, but you got the best shooters in the world. Literally the 2 best shooters in the league surrounding Draymond Green. I'm not a fan of this trade. All right, hopefully this last one is better. Or there's 2 left. Minnesota Timberwolves. I see James Johnson and James Harden. I think if Andy wants to swap those 2, I mean, I'm down for that, honestly. Like, that's not bad. All right, let's dive into this. James Johnson for Eric Gordon. Let me read this quick. Malik Beasley went off over the course of his 14 post-trade games with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He did. He was absolutely crazy, and I'd love to see it as a Timberwolves fan. The former Denver Nugget averaged 20 points, 3.5 threes while shooting 42.6% from deep, which is really good. That may have been just enough to make the Wolves sweat his restricted free agency. If some team throws a massive offer Beasley's way, Minnesota could be torn on whether to match it. With Karl-Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell both on long-term deals, the cap situation is already a little tight. Perhaps the Timberwolves could get a similar floor spacing and more experience in the trade market. Eric Gordon set to make $18.9 million. So here's my thing with this. And if you guys don't know, I do write about the Minnesota Timberwolves for awolfamongwolves.com. Also, you can find them on Twitter at A Wolf Among Wolves blog. Or actually, it's AWAW blog on Twitter. Outside of that, I also do host the A Wolf Among Wolves podcast. You can find that on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to. But If you've listened to me talk about that at all, I've talked about Malik Beasley to a great extent. And my thing with Malik Beasley is I don't think he's going to get more than Eric Gordon is on this market out here. First, we're in a depleted market. Coronavirus has, lowered the NBA's revenue a ton. So the NBA really, the salary cap's not going to be going up for next season. So Malik Beasley isn't going to be demanding like $20 million. Another thing is, I think that there's not many teams with cap space out there and not any that are going to want to throw money. We got the Hawks. Could the Hawks throw money at Malik Beasley? Sure, but I don't know if they really are inclined to do that. I mean, the Knicks could maybe throw them an offer, but the thing with the Knicks is they're always star chasing, and they want those top-tier free agents right away. And the thing with Malik Beasley is he's not a star. I mean, best case scenario, Malik Beasley becomes a star somehow, some way, but I don't see it happening. I think he's like that third piece on a really good team. But the Knicks aren't going to want to crowd their cap space by throwing $20 million at Malik Beasley when they could possibly, in their minds, they could get somebody in 2021 free agency. But the thing with Malik Beasley, being a restricted free agent, he can't just accept a one-year deal somewhere else. It has to be at least 2 years. So the Knicks aren't going to crowd their books for that, and there's not a lot of other teams with cap space, so I don't really see this. Then if we look at a fit-wise, James Johnson, when he came over in the trade, I mean, yeah, he's overpaid, and he's definitely going to pick up his player option for this year, which is it's like $16 million. But James Johnson's actually a really solid piece for this Timberwolves team, and I think he's got some of that leadership, some of that toughness that some of these guys like Russell, Towns, and these other players on the Timberwolves, they really need to, kick it into gear and stuff a little bit, and I think James Johnson helps them do that. But, this trade doesn't really make any sense because, one, I think that Malik Beasley is going to cost less than Eric Gordon does, and I think that he's just a better fit. He's more athletic, and he's been here already. He's shown what he can do, and I wrote an article about Malik Beasley a while back, and Malik Beasley, when given opportunity, is so much better of a player than when he comes off the bench. When he gets like 24 minutes a night, his efficiency goes up, his scoring, his rebounding, his assists, everything goes up. So I hate this trade. There has not been one single trade that I've remotely liked. The closest one was the Love for Aldridge swap, but I'm just not a fan of that one either. We got one last trade. If Andy can redeem himself, it won't be all lost. The New York Knicks. We're back in the Chris Paul thing. So we got Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson, Dennis Smith Jr., Reggie Bullock, and a first-round pick for Chris Paul. This one's not it either, dude. Bobby Portis, solid play. I like Bobby Portis as like a bench piece or maybe like your fifth starter. Taj Gibson, he was in Minnesota. He was a solid player, but he's getting older. He's not getting any better. He's a little undersized to play the center position, and he's a little underskilled to play the power forward position in today's NBA. So Taj Gibson, I mean, like, I'm guessing a lot of these guys are on like expiring contracts, but I don't get this. Reggie Bullock's nothing to call home about, and Dennis Smith Jr. has kind of fallen off over the past few years. So I don't like this trade for Oklahoma City. I mean, I don't really like it for New York either because New York's actually a pretty young team. So I think bringing in an older Chris Paul, that's not something you want to do really, and you really don't want to make the cap space really hard to maneuver in the future when Chris Paul is making $40 million 3 years from now and he's almost 40 years old. So I don't really agree with this trade either. Sorry, Andy, but these trades have been trash. Let's see what he has to say about this one. It's not hard to see why the Knicks are interested despite Paul's age and massive contract. They can offer OKC 4 expiring contracts and a first-round pick. So I get that. I do get that for cap flexibility, but the other thing with OKC is they're not a free agent destination either. Like, you got to think. People want to go to New York. Either the Knicks, Brooklyn. They want to go to LA. Maybe like a Chicago, maybe like a Miami, or some of these teams like Boston and stuff that have really solid players, but nobody's going to want to go to OKC when it's Shea and Steven Adams. And I like those players, and I think they're good, but I don't think that that's a reason to, mortgage your point guard right now that is molding Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and try and just bring in a 4 expiring contracts and 1 first round pick. It doesn't even say what year the first round pick is, but yeah, these were really bad. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys think any of these trades are good. If you would do any of these trades, tell me why. And I'm saying like both sides of it, not just like, oh yeah, I would do this trade if I was the Thunder. No. I want to know if you were general managing both teams, do these trades make sense? Because I don't see it at all. These are quite possibly some of the worst trade ideas I've seen from a reputable NBA writer. I mean, you see them all the time on these other pages, these blogs and things where people are throwing these crazy... You see it on the Lakers Twitter all the time. But, like, a guy that makes a living off of writing about the NBA should not have this bad of trade offers. I don't get it. But that's going to do it. These were the worst trade offers I've ever seen. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Let me know what you thought of all the trades. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to do that. And also make sure to drop a like on this video. And follow my TikTok. It'll be in the description. Appreciate you all. It's been TKE. It's been real. Peace out.